This video is focused on Word Intermediate, specifically for essay support. I'll look at styles, table of contents, page orientation, and section breaks. So just to clarify, the features are highlighted, so styles in regards to headings for a document, table of contents to organise your document, make it easier for people to navigate, page orientation, where you might want to change or set this to your preference, and section breaks, which can support page orientation and good layout of your document. Text styles. It supports document navigation and readability, including for screen readers. Styles can be found on the home ribbon in Word. And aim to start at the top level, the title, and then work down and don't skip a level. So you would go from heading 1 to heading 2 to heading 3, and not to heading 1 and jump to heading 3. This will disorientate users of screen readers. Now we're going to look at a demonstration. Now, as I mentioned, the styles can be found on the home ribbon, and you can see I've laid out some text so I can demonstrate this. Now, first of all, my document needs a clear title, so I select the text, and the option I'm going to choose from the styles is title. We need to start adding our headings to the document, so I'm going to select the introduction, and I'm going to use heading 1, so I'm starting from the initial heading. The next area is the main content area, and this is also going to be heading 1. Within this main content I've got two subtopics. We're not going to jump to different levels just because of how it looks. We want to make sure we stick to the heading structure. So I select over topic 1, and the next option we got is heading 2 there. We'll do the same for topic 2. If we drill down any further, we also have heading 3 and so forth we can use. And you'll find the text gets slightly smaller and such. But don't pick these based on how they look. You can always change your default styles or check what the preference is for the styles of the document you're creating, for who you're creating it for. But generally speaking, make sure you follow the sort of heading 1, heading 2, heading 3, because it's the program and screen readers which are going to utilise how it's been formatted and identified, and not by how it looks. But the last one we've got is this conclusion here, and I'm just going to change that to heading as well. So there we are, we have laid out our document, and different things that are going to utilise this text, as it's beneficial to a screen reader as well. Table of contents. This uses the styles and headings you set within your document. And these help support document navigation, showing the document topics and subtopics, as well as the page numbers for these. They're more popular when printing up a document or for more formal documents. You'll find this feature located in the References ribbon, and you can regularly refresh the table to make sure you pick up any changes you make, so the page numbers reflect the correct pages. We're now going to look at a demonstration. Now I have expanded on the document we used earlier slightly, and we're now going to make a table of contents. Now first we need to make space for this to go to, so I'll make it just below my title, above my first heading, on the first page. Then we go to the References tab, and you'll find the table of contents within that ribbon. We've got various options. I'm just going to choose the first automatic table. And it uses the headings, so it recognises that we've got headings at level 1 and 2 within this document. And you can currently see that everything's on page 1. If I was to add a page break just here, so it now goes on to page 2, you'll notice the table doesn't automatically update, so I need to choose to update the table. And it's usually quite healthy to update the entire table, so it's not just the page numbers picked up, so you may have changed the titles slightly when editing it. You can now see the conclusion. It's on page 2. So that is the table of contents, and you may wish to use this to lay out a formal document or an essay, and although you can use navigation to see the same things, it just allows you to see those headings and so forth, either in a printed document or when somebody opens up the document, and they can then navigate to these areas by, as it says, control and click to follow the links to those pages. Page orientation. Different document types may benefit from using different page orientation, and sometimes you may want to change it within one document. You'll find page orientation located within the layout ribbon. You may want to check the reader's preference before changing to make sure it doesn't disorientate the person reading through your document. And they may have a preference to how your document should be laid out. We're now going to look at a demonstration. Page orientation. So, depends what type of content you will put in your document. You may wish to change the page orientation. And you may not wish to do it for the whole document, but we'll explore that in sections in a moment. So if I was to have a large image or table, it'd benefit from the landscape orientation to make better use of the page space. And you'll find this in the layout ribbon, and the orientation just on the left side here. It's currently on portrait. If I change this to landscape, you can see how this table could have more information in the cells and make better use of this page space on the right hand side. So I'd have more space to type things. I could have more columns if I wanted to, but I've got better space for something like a table, or possibly an image, depending on the image. You may not want to do this for the whole document, and we're going to look at section breaks in just a moment. The 4 section breaks. Section breaks allow one part of the content to clean the end, and another part to start. You may have used page breaks before, but section breaks give you more freedom when it comes to things like choosing where page numbering starts and finishes, and changing the orientation within a document. You'll find section breaks located within the layout ribbon, and the options are next page, continuous, even page, odd number. Read and consider the descriptions of each of these options within Word. As always, speak to the person who wants you to create the document, your essay, so you get an idea what their expectations are for the document and the layout. We're now going to look at a demonstration. Now, I don't want my whole table to impact the whole document, so just because the table or image fits in landscape, I actually want the rest of my document to be in portrait, and we're going to use section breaks to help support this. Well, first of all, I'm going to set the whole document back to portrait. I'm going to choose the point at which I want to make this document landscape, and I'm going to add a section break. So in the layout ribbon, under breaks, you'll see you have page breaks and section breaks. And we are going to choose the first option here, but you can explore these options for next page, continuous, even page, odd page, and you can read the descriptions as you wish. But I'm going to choose next page. Let's now add what looks like a page break, this little section break, for this topic. Now, I'm now going to change the orientation of this page, where my cursor currently is, to landscape. And you'll notice if we look back, page 2, the topic 1, is still as portrait. This next page for topic 2 is changed to landscape. Now, I've only added one section break, so anything after this point is also a landscape, which is what we don't want. So I'm going to have my cursor here. I'm going to add space where some content might go. And I'm going to add another break, and it needs to be a section break again for the next page. I'm now going to set this next page back to orientation, portrait. And you can see anything after this point is also portrait. So my normal document, the before, but I want in portrait, continues. It comes to this next page option, where I'm now in landscape, and then goes back to portrait how I wish. You'll notice I will also get options to change the page numbers if I wanted to. I realise that some essays require you to ignore either the front page or the content pages and start page 1 where you want to actually start your content. And you can explore page numbering based upon these section breaks as you wish. This is just the basic introduction. Practice task. Open a new Word file. At the top of the document, type Film Reviews. Then, on separate lines, with a paragraph in between them, add 3 titles of recent films you have seen. Set the top film review text to title style and each of the film titles as heading 1. Below your document title, add the table of contents which will use the headings. Experiment changing the page orientation, but you will likely want to leave it as portrait. Quick session review. We have looked at where these features are located. We have considered how they might be used. We have raised what else to consider when using these features.